Hello and welcome to a tutorial teaching you how to isolate the water supply to your house. Particularly important if you've got an emergency or if you've got a leak. Now I'll hurry through this because I'm guessing some of you are in an emergency situation, which is why you've googled this video. Now the reason I'm sat down on the floor just under the kitchen sink is because often the first port of call where you need to turn your water off is right here. It's called a stopcock. This one is even labelled, but I have a bit of a problem here. And that problem is that stopcock has seized up. They often do, often they are not used for years and years and years. So I still have a problem. I need to isolate the water to the tap above. Now there is another way of doing this. So either the stopcock is seized or perhaps you just can't find it and you're panicking. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to jump to a secondary video where I'm going to show you how you walk out into the street and find where you can isolate your water from outside. After we've watched that, we'll cut back to me here, sit on the floor, and I'll just talk you through a few final bits.
There you go, there's the road here. There's the row of houses all down there. Now just on the road itself, before we get onto the property, excuse me, you will see that we have a little hatch there that says water. Now, just get a screwdriver. It sometimes can be quite stiff. Sometimes these have not been opened for years, but it's the water board's responsibility to maintain a shut-off towards the house. And there it is there. You can actually probably see, hopefully you can read that on there. I don't know if it will focus, but it says stop tap. It's this bit here. And if I turn that, can you see it turns? It's quite awkward to get your hand in there. You can actually get a key. I say a key. It's a long pole with a little end fitting on the end, which enables you to twist that with a handle. But if I were to turn that all the way, then that would switch the water completely off to the house. Now once you've done that, it's very, very important that you test the cold water is switched off. So go into your kitchen, open up the cold tap, and it will run just for a little while, and then it will be completely off.
Okay, so you've seen where the water is isolated from the street. What I would like to point out is the moment you switch that stopcock off that you've just seen in the street, no more water can enter your house. It's important that you check that it is your water supply and not your neighbour's. But as you saw from that video, it was quite clear that was the only one in front of the house. Maybe if you live in flats or apartments, there might be one service point serving all the flats, in which case you really need to speak to somebody in the flats or in the apartment. But if you've got a problem, if you've got a leak, you're going to need to act quickly. Your first port of call should always be to call a plumber. It really should. But maybe you phone one up and you can't get one for 2 or 3 hours. You can't wait. A lot of damage can happen within that time. So let's isolate the water supply and then call in the professional. The other thing I would say to you is, I mean, in the UK certainly we have 2 different types of water system. I'll make it as untechnical as I possibly can, but sometimes you might have a combi boiler or a high pressured system. Now, if that's the case, then just isolating that water supply will turn off all the water to your house. However, if you have what we would call a gravity fed system, then you have an additional bit of water stored either in your hot water cylinder or it might be in tanks in the loft. If that's the case, no more water is coming into your house, but as I say, you still have water stored, usually inside the loft or inside a cylinder, and it all will be both. In that case, open up both your bath taps. Just open them up and let the water come through. Okay, all that will happen then is it will go down the drain and it will empty the tanks, and then once that's done, and once you know there is no more water coming out your taps and there is literally no more damage can be done from any more water coming inside the house, as I say, you really should call a plumber. But one other thing to remember, once you've isolated the water in the street, the first thing you should really be doing is coming in and turning on your mains water supply. Now, the one tap in that house where you can guarantee, if it's been done properly, that the mains water supply comes in on is your cold water tap in your kitchen. That's your drinking water. It can't come from a tank in the loft because of all manner of reasons. So the first thing you must do is come into the kitchen and turn on the cold water tap. If you've done that, and you've isolated it correctly in the street or under here, no water should come out. The moment no water comes out of your cold water tap, you know you have isolated your cold water feed. Hopefully this has helped out. As I say, please do call a professional. This is just here purely to help follow the guidelines and then call somebody in. But you know what? If you've got water gushing into your house or leaking or something like that, it's going to be a nice tip for you to isolate it, and it will just take the pressure off, so as you can then make the phone calls and sort everything out. Call the plumber, call your insurance company, of course, which is probably your first port of call, and go from there. But hopefully not too many people have that. Hopefully not many people have Googled this, but I was just doing a job, and I noticed that I couldn't isolate the water, and I knew what to do. It's not always the case for everybody. So thank you very much for watching. If you could please give the video a thumbs up if it's helped you, and also if you could please subscribe to the channel. I will be here. I'll be continuing to upload videos on which, you know, just hopefully break things down and make the sort of tricky and complicated world of plumbing seem a little bit more simple, just so as, you know, I can help you guys when you try to do these DIY projects at home. Until next time, thank you very much for watching.